you are able to learn from them, and the fact that you praise them. When I say praise, not making them bigger than they are, but being sincere with them, and being praising a child is listening to a child. That's praising a child. The fact that you are able to be still and look at this child like you would look at the man who's saying, tickets please. You understand? The same mentality, and they know it and they appreciate it. But it's taking the likes of us to live the life we've lived, to understand it and to change that dimension, to transform that karma. Because our karma, where we come from, you understand, it was not to be, it was very harsh. You understand? Mom, dad work all day, they fed up, they're tired, they didn't have time, right? Now you and I can take our kids to football. I take my kids to football. We go watch football matches. Are you kidding me? For me,
what's destroyed, I think, and it's sadly, a lot of relationships are destroyed for money. A lot of women that love men, a lot of men that deeply love a woman is destroyed because why? We have been lied to, the populace, about needing and wanting and having more, and going out there and trying to work as much as possible for who? A corporation that's always already rich? You need to be your own corporation. Take the time for that man trying to reach out to you. Or take the time for that woman to say, hey, I need a hug, without her saying it. Or take the time and show that kid, clean these shoes up that you already got. They're nice shoes. Clean them up. You don't need a brand new pair, whatever. You see, we're showing our children so-called love with what we're buying for them. That's the worst parenting. I'm not judging any parent. Wherever you are in the world, love. I'm just saying, we need to say no. We need to say, hey, take care of what you have. You see? Because, I heard something. When a person wants to go look for better, by the time they see that better, by the time, what the guy say?
Yeah, better.
By the time they turn around and see that better is not, I forgot what he said. Basically saying, when you want to go find something better, and you turn around and look at what you had, by the time you look around, what you had is not better than what you had.
Yes.
But it's just like, but people get tired.
Yeah.
You stay with a person, 20, whatever, a long time.
Yeah.
You have to, especially, you have to revitalize yourself. But people nowadays, man, will be in a new relationship or just a couple of years. You don't even know the person. You can be with a person for 30 years and don't know the person. So it's one of those things, man. The evolution of our mind is deep. That goes from how we raise ourselves. We need to raise ourselves before we can raise a kid. You're a kid, right? I'm a kid.
We're kids. You know that when you have children, that they are actually older. The mentality, the way they think, it's out of this world. My 19-year-old, 19-month-old kid, the way she will walk in, she's not speaking yet, and she looks at me. She does this and she points, and I look at what she's pointing at, and I go, "Oh yeah, you're right. I left the door open. Wow, thank you, babe." And she goes, and I go to the door and I close the door and I go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I walked through
that right there is the deepest. Listen, I'm a communications guy. That right there is the most basic, deepest form of communication. Point, look, think, do.
You understand? And
Absolutely.
she the other day I was about to cross. I was talking and she stopped me. She looked at the light. She pointed at the light. And I was like, "Oh yeah," and she pulled me back because she said, basically what she was saying, "You told me not to cross unless it's red. I know there's no cars coming, but that's not the point. It's red."
Man, that right there, bro. You know what, man? You got me on that right there, bro. Is when I look at parents trying to tell their kid this and that. Look, because that communication is so basic. It's so basic. Stop trying to overly command and teach and do. Let them make mistakes. I don't want my daughters to be hurt, but then I want my daughters to be hurt to learn. Do I want them physically hurt, harmed? Then I got to get involved, and now I'm going to prison because behind somebody. But be smart, girls. Be smart what you say in public. Don't be screaming your name. I did security all my life, so that's how I am. But my family calls me paranoid. My family, I'm absolutely paranoid is a good word. For me, the word paranoid means this: I'm at a heightened, focused awareness. That's paranoid to me. Now, you can be a negative paranoid and be afraid of that heightened focus. You know,
Listen, man, paranoia. I having children, I can say paranoia is one of the greatest intervention that was ever created and installed in a man. I'll be paranoid all you want. When you have children and down to when they sleep and making sure they sleeping correct so the wind doesn't come in and they catch a cold, from that level to hunger to making sure, okay, they get off school at this time, I need to make sure food is ready for them by the time they walk through the door. My wife is busy, let me make sure she. But man, the list goes on, and I don't want to get off topic here. You went on to work with Luc Besson for uh, an amazing film called Fifth Element. Um, we're not praising anyone, and you have a point there. But for you, from a humanistic perspective, you know, looking back now, because along the way you meet these different characters and different human beings in life. You meet people that people worship, because he did the professional with Gary Oldman and all that stuff. And then here you are smack bang again, like another story with Terry McGlade, with all these other guys. Then what was that with Chris Tucker? And that's why I wanted to. That's the only reason I'm touching on this, because now here you are in this place. How you could have gone further than that, but what happened? Did you see something? Because now we can go into the film and television aspect, dirt,
yeah,
all
I'm,
that
I'm gonna tell
stuff.
you. I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you another story. My first day there. Excuse me. I go into Pinewood Studio. Big up Pinewood. Big up Chiswick, where I was staying out there. Chiswick. I go out there to the studio. They pick me up in the car, and my first day not on set, but at the studio. And they had, everybody meandering around and talking this and that. And I'm not a guy that really gets into the mix, start talking to people. So I'm, hello, get approached, and so the AD, which is the assistant director, came and found me and made sure I have my dressing room area. Boom, I go in there first, and man, I wasn't in there not even 5 minutes. Get a knock on the door, you know. Open the door. I look straight at my eye level, and I look at this little guy standing there. It's tricky. It's tricky. Those that don't know, tricky is during
Yeah,
the area of massive attack,
yeah,
US 3,
yep,
Soul to Soul, all of that
yep,
era. Goldie,
yep,
Bjork,
yep.
all of that.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, hey, man, hey, he's very, very brash.
Yeah.
He's looking around. He's looking all sketchy. I said, before he said a word, I said, brother, come on in. I don't know what you want, but
Come on
let's get it
in.
off the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I shook his hand. He's a little tiny guy. He goes,
Yeah,
man.
tricky.
He goes, you got something to smoke? I said, no, brother, I don't.
Oh my
I
God.
did, but I didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
And so, man, that's how I met him. And we ended up, he went back to this, I don't know where he got what he got, but he came back and we burned a little something, man. And that was like a peace pipe for a Native American, And I went in there. And so then, you could hear people knock on the doors just to come out into the hallway to congregate and get whatever we had to do for that moment. And so as we're talking and meeting different people, I see people start to kind of move. I could see over everybody. They're moving out of the way. And I was like, what are they moving for? So I moved to the side. I'm standing there. Here comes a master, Gary Oldman. I love that dude. Gary Oldman was sauced. He was gone already.
He was in
But still,
character.
but in character. But in character.
Look at him, God.
And he walks up, and you know, I'm not one of these guys. I don't believe in that star stuff. Hey man, how you doing? Hey babe, you know, with respect. Hey man, shake his hand. He looks at me. He goes, "You're very big." He said, "You're very tall." I said, "Okay, thank you." He was gone. You could smell his perfume on him, if you know what I mean. And he came out there, and people were talking. And he went away. So we went and went to the area that we were going to be shooting that day, Pinewood. Okay, man, massive soundstage studio, massive. This is for people that don't. Pinewood was the 007 studio. All the iconic 007 films were done there, and we went there. And so I had to go to an area where my costume was computerly done. I don't know how to say that word. I lost a lot of my English, man, living in France
No,
too
no,
long.
you good. You that's okay.
It was done by me sitting in a chair and being turned and different things. Laser was
Yes.
taking all these different measurements of my face and boom, I
And
had a
that was
mask.
revolutionary, by the way, at that time. That was
Yes,
very
very much
revolutionary.
so. I had never seen that in myself, but
Yeah.
so the bottom half of my basically it was a big jumpsuit that was zipped up in the back. Okay, but the mask was thick, um, um, some kind of rubber of some sort. You couldn't breathe at all. And the only way I can get air was through the mouth, and the mouth opens up like this. But the material was that thick, but the mouth opened up. So I have this thing on me, right? And I'm trying to breathe. Man, you had guys with all the light. The lights were just in that studio. We had these big floodlights. You had people falling out on set. Okay, a couple of guys that fell out because you couldn't eat. We were shooting for hours and hours, and we couldn't eat for a moment. And the one piece where Aknat, is that you? What an ugly face! It doesn't suit you. Take it off. That was a different guy. That was not me. There was they brought in a guy that was a costume actor. And a lot of people that don't understand that is a lot of the time when you see actors or actresses uh, out of makeup, you'll have a double or a triple in some cases that will come in. People that are that's their number one thing exactly is to be able to wear this in some cases extremely heavy uh, outfit. And the guys that were the backup for Gary Oldman, they were all bodybuilders, huge guys, you know. But my double was this big brother, wherever he is, wherever his name was, I forgot his name, respect. Uh, he came in there and he did this, man, and he fell out. I had a moment, yeah, I had a moment in my thing where because you're pouring sweat, okay, and there's no way you can't get any straw within because the lips kind of came out. It was hell. But anyway, you know, we have to go through things to be able to do what we do. So Gary came, and we happened to be getting ready to shoot that piece, or it's way in the distance, because Pinewood is acres long, uh, kilometers long. We could hear people hammering and with a drill, way in the distance. Gary starts to give his powerful exchange, and Luke, I can't do this. He stops. Luke goes, cut. Okay, can we get somebody to? We have a lot of noise. We can't hear. Boom. It stops. Way over there, like that. Okay. We start again. Act not. Is that you? What an ugly face. It doesn't suit you. Take it off. And he said, and then you hear it come again. And so Gary Oldman stops. He goes, "What the F?" He goes, "I can't do this. I don't need this today." It was hilarious. It was hilarious, man. And so they sent somebody way. I think they were getting another area ready for another whatever. It stopped, and man, that type of thing happened. And then a couple of days later, we went to a big opera house to shoot the scene where I had on the white, where you had the diva performing. Um, May win, love. And that for her, man, she was in all this makeup and all this. She was on stilts. Wow. So man, we had. That's where Chris Tucker was in there. Uh, we need champagne, and so Bruce Willis came, and Bruce Willis, uh, yeah, he was a different type of individual, uh, and so I had an issue with him. Didn't say anything, but he saw here. Be careful what you do next time, because he flicked my ear. They were trying to figure out. Luke was trying to come in, and as he came in, he was trying to figure out how do we turn Vladimir around, because I was much taller, and because you had people here off to my left, you had people in front of me, you had people to my side, you had people. Right? How do we? Because and then you had the row of chairs. I was in between that, and then the camera, and we had to try to fit everybody in. And so they were saying, Chris goes, "Well, let me just tap him." We tried, you know how it goes. We tried that, and I had a tray that I had to turn around, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I was too wide. Um, Chris goes, "Well, let me nudge him, let me push him a little bit." Try that. Same deal. Bruce Willis walks up and he goes, "Well, what about this?" And he flicked me in my ear really hard. Now I turn around, I looked at him, and I was about to smash on him. Right? I can't lie to your audience. I was about to punch him in his mouth. That's what I come from. And he said, Bruce Willis goes, "Oh yeah, y'all work it out," and he walked away. And so Luke Besson walked to me. He goes, "It's okay. I understand. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool." That was that little bit of my introduction to Bruce Willis. Anyway, we got the scene out the way, and then man, it was just fluid. It was for me working with Crazy Chris. Chris had me cracking up because Chris didn't give a damn. You know what, man. You know what, and I think I can speak for you in this aspect. You have those people that get into their character, and they're in their character to the end of the shoot. Then you have those people that go in and out of character. Gary Oldman is a guy, when he's in character, there is no Gary Oldman. He's exactly, and he's Zorg. Uh, Bruce Willis came, that how I looked at it, as this, he was Bruce Willis, and then he became this other character. Chris was Ruby Rod, you know what I'm saying? So it was just funny. We shot that particular, remember when he came in and he's talking, he's, "Come on, my man," and we're walking through it, he's talking about this guy's the Powerball, this guy, blah, blah. We shot that sequence 50 times. 50 or more times. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Some of those actors that were sitting around were asleep. Okay? Man, it was an amazing, gigantic opera house. But for the primary people at that last position of the camera, man, we were just Chris would come in, we'd be sitting down, and then he would come in, and right before he got to us, we would stand up, and because some of it had to be fragmented, yes, and then some of it had to be, of course, fluid, and we did it both. And man, it was after the shoot. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had to be back on set at maybe people's call times were differently because I was one of the faces. I had then the next day I had my close up, okay, my introduction to the film. And I came in there, boom, I said, showtime. It was only one word, but whatever. I was in there. I also was in the show with Paul Hogan. I was in the movie Crocodile Dundee 3. You don't remember me? You don't remember me, do you? I was a
Interesting.
guy. I was a guy where there was a situation on the freeway, all this traffic, and there was an animal on the road that stopped all the traffic. And Paul Hogan walks up and says, "You know, there's something." I said, "There's something on the road." That was my little snippet. But people thought I was in the Predator. On my IMDb, they think I was in the Predator. I wasn't in the Predator. I wish, but I wasn't. It was the Jamaican scene. They thought it was me.
Interesting.
Or so many people have approached, "Hey, you were in the blah blah blah." I said, "No, that wasn't me." What? I said,
Because you're about the same height as.
"Yeah, I was." But if you look at the guy's face, it's
Yeah.
clearly not me. And you know
Because
what? You have some people that would take that credit, but I'm not one of those people.
yeah. Because it's interesting that you went on to do Dirt in LA. Was that supposed to be a series that would have ran for a long time? What was the whole? Because you had won the Model of the Year. Then after that, boom. Why did you bounce like that? I know you talked. Okay, you touched on it, but let's put that for
No,
another time.
let's speak on that, please.
Okay, yeah, because you just won the Model of the Year.
I just 1999. I won the Model
Yeah.
of the Year, and then the next day I had a brand new baby, my oldest,
Okay, got you.
and I took took my my wife and everything, and I left.
Did it change
Because
everything? Watching your child, watching a child in the midst of all of this coming into the world. Did a number on you? Was that
I was tired of the business.
yes?
Um, I was tired of the business, and I was just I wanted to leave. How I left was how I left in a credible way. It was my way, so yeah, it was credible. Uh, was I on contract with anybody? That I broke a contract? No, I wasn't on contract with a pen. But in terms of years contract, it was something like this, unwritten. Working with Jean Paul Gaultier, some of these people. When I took my family and left, I stayed over in LA for 10 years. I did Dirt.
Yeah, and that's
I
why
did a few other
I ran
jobs,
into you a couple of times. Yeah.
right? And when I went back to Paris, nobody wanted to touch me or talk to me. Why? Because I found out that these people lost millions and millions of back then francs because of me. I left. I left how I came in on my own 2 feet, you know. And of course, you know how the business is, man, where when you talk to your agent, I say, I'm getting tired. I want to leave. And then I go back home, Vladimir, you're up for this option. They try to keep you there, you know. And then I said, you know what? It's time I want to get out of Paris. I have a brand new baby. I want to go back home. Went back home and got organized. But after I won the Model of the Year, I was approached. And the person that approached me, it was I won't get into the details. It was very, very, on a spiritual aspect for me. I had to leave Paris. And I left. And there was pictures of me on Google where my family was being photographed. I was being watched. I was being followed. And I always had my protection with me. And it was weird. It was very, very strange. People need to understand one thing. When you're at the top of an industry and you leave, and those people that you were making, millions of dollars for, millions of dollars, millions of euros, whatever the case, and you leave, and they're not making any money anymore, they're going to have a problem with you. And that was my case. So, and that kind of, it stopped my career in a certain way. It pushed people away from me because those people were mixed in that as well. Maybe, I don't know. And so it took me years to try to get out from under, so to speak, and still do it, and still to this day. People that understand, that will hear my voice talk about this, will understand exactly what I mean. I won't get into names or this and that, but that's a reality of being a star. You know, that's the reality of being an icon or this, super that. I'm just Vladimir trying to work and make money for my kids. I had a
And,
family. That's all that matters.
I remember telling you yesterday when we were talking briefly, I said, listen, for me, spiritually, when this show came about, it was about an homage to people of all walk of life who own their stratosphere. They are aware of the power and the strength of their stratosphere, and they don't need anyone to validate them. So people were like, "So what kind of show is it?" I said, "Well, you watch and see. There are people that are in your society that makes things move that you don't even know about. They're not people that's gonna be on your next cover magazine. Trust me, but they can buy that cover magazine. They could buy that industry just by their presence and just by who they are. And that's why I said, this is the house of Vladimir McCrary. And which brings me to this, because now, you're writing. You're right. I'm reading a lot of your stuff. You are writing. You're going into glassware. You are in a world where it takes time and it takes experience from your past to reignite a lot of these things. So where we expecting any your poetry, because you got some incredible poems, and thank you for doing something. You mark your words. Everyone knows it's from you.
Right.
You know.
I've had a lot. I've had a lot of my work stolen.
Mm.
Um, I mean, there's no other way to put that. There's just been many things that I've done that was taken. But you know what? Have it. That's how I look at it. I say to your creative audience or anyone, put your name on what you do, protect it, because you'll have people, for example, and you've known it, people like this as well. You'll have people that have amazing ideas, but not the liquid, not the money, and they'll go and talk to a friend and tell their friend about this idea, and they've already lost their idea. Because that friend will already be calling their lawyer to go and get it taken care of. They got the money and started. They might change a few things, even with a catchphrase that you might use, you know. And so, but at the same time, God, the Most High, is really He's honored me with the gift of gab, with the ability to be able to write, with the ability to have ideas. I don't always have the money, but when I see someone that has clearly taken something from me, I don't say a word, man. I just say, they know what they've done. Good, go. Now I'm in the process of writing a book. I'm in the process of working, knock on wood, going to be doing something for Netflix eventually. Um, Working on eyewear and working on possible fragrance.
And I think it's about time, because with you
Many have
model
said that.
a lot, because you wore a lot of eyewear.
Yeah.
Endless eyewear. As you know, I'm also on a contract with a company the last 7 years. Man, they do not want to let me go, because they know, because we're from fashion, we know, but we know how to do the numbers. When you see a picture that's used all the time, that means that item is selling like hotcakes, right? So I'm able to see that, and for years, every time the contract come up, my partner looks at me and goes, "What you gonna do?" I'm like, I really, really want to do my own eyewear, because I know who's buying it. I know there's people. So I can say the same about you. You have this. You wore some very incredible exclusive eyewear as we speak. Obviously, the pictures are coming up anyway. Um, you wore some incredible eyewear. Did that also shape your thoughts, because you had to spend time with these people? You had
Yeah,
to spend,
no,
yeah,
yes, I had to spend time with these people, but
yeah,
no, because I have very light sensitive eyes.
yeah.
And all those years, I've always worn glasses when I was younger because of the growing up in Texas with all that brightness. But when I got into fashion, man, fashion really hurt my eyes because of all of the, people. Let me try to let people understand how a set looks. You have a strobe. A strobe is like a big box that when the camera goes off, you have this powerful strobe. Depending on what you're shooting and what needs to be highlighted, you'll have things around you. But then you'll always have this spotlight over you, just out of frame. And it's so crazy bright. And every time that strobe hits you, people that have light sensitive eyes, sometimes people fall out. Okay. I used to get headaches. And so I love to do when I was working, I love to always do eyewear because that guarded me. So then I said to myself, Vladimir, do your own thing. Now at this point in my life, I had worked with a guy. His name was Julian Van Steger. Julian, respect. We started doing something, but some things got put on hold. Uh, I'm going to go back and finish that because I need to. Because you know what? My ideas, not just the eyewear itself, is how I present the eyewear. How I'll make it live in your mind, not mine. You know, I create things that I like. Now, those that follow me, thank you. Follow me as you wish, but personalize what I give you. Don't ever try to wear something or act a certain way depending on how this person wore it or acted. You have to individualize it. It's important. And I do that with everything. As I write, uh, I have someone that I care about. Many people that I've known, they say, "I know what you mean. I know you." And it's cute when I hear that because I might write a whole page and ramble. I'll ramble. But sorry, the meaning of that whole poem is on the last line. So I love poetry, man, because poetry allows me to wordplay. Poetry allows me to get into the mind of people, get into the heart of people, let a person live through my words. And that's another way for me. That's another way for me to be able to just vent, just get things off my
You,
mind.
this is what another poem of yours that I really like. That says a man should never accept what he doesn't want, and always the best. Money doesn't make a man quality. He's quality without it. What is valuable is his heart, and that is priceless. By Vladimir McCrary. A lot of people, I could tell you put a lot of thoughts. Knowing you the way I know in your journey, um, you're a thoughtful man. You're a thinker. I mean, when my wife knew that I was going to have you on the show, he went, "Oh, you and that guy, we need to lock you guys up in an island, and when we go to Paris, man, you guys should just go off and just smoke a cigar and really he is you guys." And I said, honey, we're from the same era. Literally, I won't be surprised if we're born the same day. I said, we're from the same era. She goes, yeah, I could tell because we are, how did she describe us? She said, you guys are nomad. You guys are men with your own island, and wherever you go, the party, the fun comes with you guys, and your kids are lucky to have you guys as father because she knows you got three girls. She's like, "Oh man, you guys." She goes, "They the luckiest people in the world." And I knew at first I knew what she meant by that because we we could never do no wrong in their eyes, right? They just and I think to them it's a big deal. It's like, oh wow, these guys. And funny how kids they think, right? Yeah, it's like, wow, my dad. Sometimes I said, where would you like to live? And they all go, and I'm sure your kids say the same thing. Wherever you go to live, that we're with you. In the cold, in the stone, in the rock, and the hell, we'll go with you. They've never really. They're just such happy. You understand? So we both have very, like I said, we're both very similar. So it's an honor, bro, to have you. It's an honor. I just want to really, really, really thank you. I know we have a lot of things we can talk about that we are going to be involved in, and it's gonna be on our terms. And I'm really excited. And this moment is just the first of many. And bro, it's, as you know, this is just the beginning. But I want to end this show with one of your many words, one of your incredible poems that you've taken your sweet time, like many of the ones I'm reading, that you feel you would love to share with us, if that's okay with you. Can you...
Let me do this.
Yeah.
Let me give you something off the top of my head.
Yes.
A man's life is built on not just bread alone. He might go through his life, eat a steak, but it's him that leaves the bone. Alone, he can be so many things, but then as he looks around, what does life really bring? He can meet a woman, he can meet a friend, he can meet something to no end. But he looks in the mirror. That's where it begins. I've given so much, but at the end, it leaves me always with plenty. Be who you are. Never try to fake. Always love, for goodness sake. When someone reaches to you, reach back. But if you can't, respect always that lack of time, the moment. Love, we don't own it. We have to share it and give the gift that keeps on giving, because God has always blessed us to keep on living. Respect. Yeah, man.
Amen, brother. Thank you. Whoa, whoa. Thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid this is it for now, and trust me, um, I know if any of you have followed this journey to this moment, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Me and Vladimir McCrary, we come from a different, we're built different, is what I want to say. And we are from a different cloth. Um, we just evolve. You know, we're blessed, and we're blessed to be alive today, because many people from our era,
Right.
not a lot of them,
I know a few that are. Yeah.
alive. Some are probably in jail for life or something. It's not, you know what I mean? So we are incredibly blessed, and the fact that you've come this far with us, this journey with Oris Sanctionary, and you now have Vladimir McCrary in your book, and say, wow,
much more to talk about. Many more things to talk about.
This is it. This is what to talk about. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I love you too, man.